first step is let's validate this thing. I don't even want to know. I don't even care if I can actually build it. I first want to find out, will people pay for it? Will people buy it? Because that will dictate how much time I should spend in research, development, materials creation, supply chain organization. First and foremost, before I make any major decisions, before I pour any money into this concept, I have to validate my idea. So, Guillaume, on that note, now I've got my idea. Let's look at it from the technical side of the table, and then I'll bring in some of my or business analytic thought process to idea validation. So when you're looking at idea just on a piece of paper, someone brings it to you, what's your first thought?
Well, basically when they come to me with an idea, in your example, let's say the 1920s, people weren't as open-minded as they are now. Nowadays, if you come up with a great idea, it's it's great. It sounds amazing. Yeah, we would really need such a thing. But the difference now is that the entrepreneurs, they see that fairy tale, whereas I'll come up with this concept, then I'll get funded, and I'm a millionaire. I got it. I made it. But that's not how it goes, because in between, just like you said, is that validation part, that buffer, where that's the crucial phase where a lot of entrepreneurs either get discouraged or they feel passionate enough to proceed. And that kind of brings you back to what we talked about the last time. How strong is your why? Because if your why is strong enough, regardless of tremendous negative feedback, you will still try to proceed. So when somebody comes to me with an idea, hey, I got this idea, we're gonna continue with the toothbrush idea, I'll be like, okay, why do you think this is gonna work? And my first job is to kind of play devil's advocate to see how invested this entrepreneur is into getting it started. After really grilling them on, they're dedicated, they really want to do it, and maybe even if they've done their homework, we're starting to look at, okay, he or she made some valid points. Now let's look at who are the players on the market and why are those players on the market really successful, because then you can kind of weigh your idea with the ones of the competitors, and you can see where you kind of stack up against them. And once you get that idea, you gotta not just look at the direct competitors, but also the indirect competitors, because for a toothbrush, you can say, well, there's only these kinds of toothbrushes, and I easily knock them out of the park. I blow everybody away. But then you got somebody, okay, but I can also floss. Well, okay, that's an indirect competitor. Then you start looking at what do all of them kind of have in common. Then you start looking at, okay, I now put everything in order. I see how I stack up. And then it's good to do a initial SWOT analysis on where you rack up against it. Based on that SWOT analysis, then my job is to look at, okay, what's available to me to really start validating the hypothesis that this entrepreneur has. Because just like you said, in the beginning, you come up with a few problems that you've identified. And from there, you start looking at, okay, who are the players on the field? How do I stack up against them? And let's start validating what makes my product